Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalaam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते कुपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Ribul. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so today we read the chapter 42 of Krishna book, the killing of the elephant Kuvalaya Pida. And maybe killing of Kamsa. Jai Srila Prabhupada. After taking their baths and finishing all other morning duties, Krishna and Balaram could hear the beating of the kettle drums in the wrestling camp. They immediately prepared themselves to proceed to the spot to see the fun. When Krishna and Balaram reached the gate of the wrestling camp, they saw a big elephant of the name Kuvalaya Pida being tended by a caretaker. The caretaker was deliberately blocking their entrance by keeping the elephant in front of the gateway. Krishna could understand the purpose of the caretaker, and he prepared himself by tightening his dress before combating the elephant. He began to address the caretaker in a very grave voice, as resounding as cloud. You miscreant caretaker, give way and let me pass through the gate. If you block my way, I shall send you and your elephant to the house of death personified. The caretaker, being thus insulted by Krishna, O Hare Krishna, Vasudev, Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्णा सभी
Srila
प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्लीज एक्सेप्ट माय एम्बुलेंस जय श्री हरे कृष्णा अंतरिक्ष प्रभु
Krishna,
हरे
Dandavat
कृष्णा प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जय श्री
The caretaker, being thus insulted by Krishna, became very angry, and in order to challenge Krishna, as was previously planned, he provoked the elephant to attack. The elephant then moved before Krishna like inevitable death. It rushed towards him and tried to catch him with its trunk, but Krishna was very dexterously moved behind the elephant. Being able to see only to the end of its nose, the elephant could not see Krishna hiding behind its legs, but it tried to capture him with its trunk. Krishna again very quickly escaped capture, and he again ran behind the elephant and caught its tail. Holding the elephant by its tail, Krishna began to pull it, and with great strength he dragged it for at least 25 yards, just as Garuda drags an insignificant snake. Krishna pulled the elephant from the side to that, from right to left, just as he used to pull the tail of a calf in his childhood. After this, Krishna went in front of the elephant and gave it a strong slap. He then slipped away from the elephant's wheel and ran to its back. Then, falling down on the ground, Krishna placed himself in front of the elephant's two legs and caused it to trip and fall. Krishna immediately got up, but the elephant, thinking that he was still lying down, tried to push an ivory tusk through the body of Krishna by forcibly stabbing into the ground. Although the elephant was harassed and angry, the caretaker riding on its head tried to provoke it further. The elephant then rushed madly towards Krishna. As soon as it came within reach, Krishna caught hold of the trunk and pulled the elephant down. When the elephant and caretaker fell, Krishna jumped up on the elephant's back and broke it, and killed the caretaker also. Hmm. After killing the elephant, Krishna took an ivory tusk on his shoulder, decorated with drops of perspiration and sprinkled with blood of the elephant. He felt very blissful, and thus he began to proceed towards the resting camp. Lord Balaram took the other tusk of the elephant on his shoulder. Accompanied by their cowherd boyfriends, they entered the arena. When Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balaram and their friends, he appeared differently to different people according to their different relationships, rasas, with him. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure and all kinds of rasas, both favorable and unfavorable. He appeared to the wrestlers exactly like a thunderbolt. To the people in general, he appears as the most beautiful personality. To the females, he appeared to be the most attractive male, Cupid personified, and thus increased their lust. The cowherd men who were present there looked upon Krishna as their own kinsman, coming from the same village of Vrindavan. The Kshatriya kings who were present saw him as the strongest ruler. To the parents of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda, he appeared to be the most loving child. To Kamsa, the king of the Bhoja dynasty, he appeared to be death personified. To the unintelligent, he appeared to be an incapable personality. To the yogis present, he appeared to be the super soul. To the members of the Vrishni dynasty, he appeared to be the most celebrated descendant. Thus, appreciated differently by different kinds of men present, Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balaram and his cowherd boyfriends. Having heard that Krishna had already killed the elephant Kuvalaya Pida, Kamsa knew beyond doubt that Krishna was formidable. He thus became very much afraid of him. Krishna and Balaram had long hands. They were beautifully dressed, and they were attractive to other people assembled there. They were dressed as if they were going to act on a dramatic stage, and they drew the attention of all people. The citizens of Mathura city, who saw Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, became very pleased and began to look on his face with insatiable glances, as if they were drinking the nectar of heaven. Seeing Krishna gave them so much pleasure that it appeared that they were not only drinking the nectar of seeing his face, but were smelling the aroma and licking up the taste of his body and were embracing him and Balaram with their arms. They began to talk among themselves about the two transcendental brothers. For a long time they had heard of the beauty and activities of Krishna and Balaram, but now they were personally seeing them face to face. They thought that Krishna and Balaram were two plenary incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who appeared in Vrindavan. The citizens of Mathura began to recite Krishna's pastimes, his birth as the son of Vasudeva, his being taken into the care of Nanda Maharaj and his wife in Gokula, and all those events leading to his coming to Mathura. They spoke of the killing of the demon Putana, as well as the killing of Trinavarta. who came as a whirlwind. They also recalled the deliverance of the twin brothers from the Yamala Arjuna trees. The citizens of Mathura spoke among themselves. Sankashura, Keshi, Dhenukashura, and many other demons were killed by Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Krishna also saved all the cowherd men of Vrindavan from devastating fire. He chastised the Kalya snake in the water of Yamuna, and he curbed the false pride of the heavenly king Indra. Krishna held up the great Govardhan hill in one hand for 7 continuous days, and he saved all the people of Gokula from incessant rain, hurricane, and windstorm. They also began to remember other living activities. The damsels of Vrindavan were so pleased by seeing Krishna's beauty and participating in his activities that they forgot the purpose of material existence. By seeing and thinking of Krishna, they forgot all sorts of material fatigue. The Mathura citizens the dynasty of Yadu, saying that because of Krishna's appearance in this dynasty, the Yadus would remain the most celebrated family in the whole universe. While they were thus talking about the activities of Krishna and Balaram, they heard the vibrations of different bands announcing the wrestling match. The famous wrestler Chanura then began to talk with Krishna and Balaram. My dear Krishna and Balaram, he said, we have heard about your past activities. You are great heroes, and therefore the king has called you. We have heard that your arms are very strong. The king and all the people present here desire to see a display of your wrestling abilities. A citizen should be obedient and please the mind of the ruling king. Acting in that way, the citizens attains all kinds of good fortune. One who does not care to act obedient is made unhappy because of the king's anger. You are cowherd boys, and we have heard that while tending your cows in the forest, you enjoy wrestling with each other. We wish, therefore, for you to join with us in wrestling so that all the people present here, along with the king, will be pleased. Krishna immediately understood the purpose of Chanura's statement, and he prepared to wrestle with him. But according to the time and circumstance, he spoke as follows. You are the subject of the king of Boja, and you live in the jungle. We are also indirectly his subject, and we try to please him as far as possible. This offer of resting is a great favor of his. But the fact is that we are simply boys. We sometimes play in the forest of Vrindavan with our friends who are our own age. We think that to combat persons of equal age and strength is good for us, but to fight great wrestlers like you would not be good for the audience. It would contradict their religious principles. Krishna thus indicated that the celebrated strong wrestlers should not challenge Krishna and Balaram to fight. In, in reply to this, Chanura said, my dear Krishna, we can understand that you are neither a child nor a young man. You are transcendental to everyone, as your big brother Balaram. You have already killed the elephant, Uvalayapida, who was capable of fighting and defeating other elephants. You have killed him in a wonderful way. Because of your strength, it behooves you to compete with the stronger wrestlers amongst us. I therefore wish to wrestle with you, and your older brother will wrestle with Mustika. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 42nd chapter of Krishna, the killing of the elephant Kuvalayapida. Haribo.
Jai, Jai.
Hare Krishna, Vyak Prabhu,
Prabhu,
Vandam
Hare
Jai
Krishna, Prabhu. Please remember the question. Sorry, Prabhu, I was
Hare
in
Krishna, Vivek
question
Prabhu,
mode, Prabhu.
Om
Hare
Tanam.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Like Vishnu, like Vasudeva Krishna Das, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, from this Prabhupada.
Hare
Like
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. So please forgive me, Prabhu. Like I was joined late because I was in Vishnu Prabhu's class, so I can't
Yes,
able to
bro.
join.
Yeah, no problem.
I missed one chapter. What is like? Can you summarize about the chapter two?
Oh, we
Just
read
to like
this small chapter of the elephant Kuvalayapida when Krishna killed the elephant. He went behind the elephant and then Then the elephant couldn't see him. Then at one point, Krishna slapped the elephant, and then he went again behind. Then he pulled the elephant's tail. Krishna pulled the elephant from side to side, like calves in his childhood. And then Krishna gave him a strong slap. And then he ran it to the back of the elephant. And then what happened?
He was replying.
Yeah,
Correct question.
then the elephant then rushed towards Krishna. As soon as it came within reach, Krishna caught hold of the trunk and pulled the elephant down. When the elephant and caretaker fell, Krishna jumped on the elephant's back and broke it and killed the caretaker also. So the elephant died, and then they entered the arena.
Oh, okay. Haribo.
Haribo. And then there was
Yes, Prabhu.
Chanura, the wrestler. He said, "Now we want to fight you."
Hmm. Yes, Prabhu.
Vasudev Prabhu, do you want to read from the
Thank you
beginning?
so much, Prabhu, for accepting.
Yes, bro.
Thank you.
Yes, bro.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribo.
The killing of Kamsa. After Kamsa's wrestlers expressed their determination, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the killer of Madhu, the confronted Chanura and Lord Balaram, the son of Rohini, confronted Mustika. Krishna and Chanura, the Balaram and Mustika, locked themselves hand to hand, leg to leg, and each began to press against the other. With a view to come out and victorious, they joined palm to palm, calf to calf, head to head, chest to chest, and began to strike each other. The fighting WWE Pro. The fighting increased as they pushed one another from one place to another. One captured another and threw him down another and tried to overcome with him with a hold. The fighting increased step by step. There was picking up, the dragging and pushing, and then the legs and hands were locked together. All the arts of wrestling were perfectly exhibited by the parties as each tried his best to defeat his opponent. But the audience in the wrestling arena was not very satisfied because the combatants did not appear to be equally matched. They considered Krishna and Balaram to be mere boys before the wrestlers, Chandra and Mustika, who were hacked men as solid as stone. Being compassionate and favoring Krishna Balaram, many members of the audience began to talk as followed. Dear friend, there is a danger here. Another said, even in front of the king, this wrestling is going on between incompatible sides. The audience had lost their sense of enjoyment. They could not encourage their fight between the strong and the weak. Mustik and Chanura are just like thunderbolts, as strong as great mountains, and Krishna and Balram are two delicate boys of very tender age. The principle of justice has already left this assembly. Persons who are aware of the civilized principle of justice will not remain to watch this unfair match. Those taking part, those, those taking part in this wrestling match are not very much enlightened. Therefore, they speak or remain silent. They are being subjected to the reach reaction of sinful activities. But my dear friends, another in the assembly spoke out. Just look at the face of Krishna. There are drops of perspiration of his face from chasing his enemy, and his face appear like the lotus flower with drops of water. And do you see how the face of Lord Balaram has turned especially beautiful? There is a reddish hue on his white face because he is engaged in a strong wrestling match with Mustika. Ladies in the assembly also addressed one another. Dear friend, just imagine how fortunate that lion of Vrindavan is West, the supreme personality Godhead himself is present, always decorated with flower, garland, and engaged in the tendency cows. Along with his brother Lord Brahm, he is always accompanied by his cowherd boyfriends, and plays his transcendental flute. The residents of Vrindavan are fortunate to be able to constantly see that lotus feet of Krishna Balaram, which are worshipped by great demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma and the goddess of fortune. We cannot estimate how many pious activities were executed by themselves Brajbhumi, so that they are were able to enjoy the supreme personality of Godhead and look on the unparalleled beauty of his transcendental body. The beauty of the Lord is beyond compare. No one, Balram, are there, is aware of all kinds of opulence. No one is higher or equal to him in beauty of complexion or bodily lust. Krishna and Balaram are the receiver all of kind of opulence, namely with all strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation. The gopis are so fortunate that they are can see and think of Krishna 24 hours a day, beginning from their milking the cows or husking the paddy of churning the butter in the morning, while engaged in cleaning their houses and washing their floors. They are always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. The gopis give a perfect example how one can execute Krishna conscious even if he is in the different types of material engagements. By constantly being observed in the thoughts of Krishna, one cannot be affected by the contamination of material activity. The gopis are therefore perfectly in trance samadhi, the highest perfection stage of the mystic power in the Bhagavad Gita. It is confirmed that one who is constantly thinking of Krishna as a first class yogi among all kinds of yogis. My dear friends, one lady told, together we must accept the gopis' activity to be the highest form of piety. Otherwise, how could they have achieved the opportunity to sing Krishna both morning and evening when he goes to the posturing around with his cows and cowherd boyfriends and returns in the evening? The frequently his flute and smilings very brilliantly. When Lord Krishna, super soul of every living being, understood that the ladies in the assembly were anxious for him, he decided not to continue wrestling but to kill the wrestlers. Immediately, the Vasudeva and Devaki were also very anxious because they did not know the unlimited strength of their children. Lord Brahma was fighting with the wrestlers Mustika in the same way that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fighting and wrestling with Chanula. Lord Krishna appeared to be cruel to Chanula and he immediately struck his fist. A great wrestler was jolted to the astonishment of the astonishment of the audience. Chanura then took his last chance and attacked Krishna just as one hawk swoops upon another. Folding his two hands, he began to strike the chest of Krishna, but Lord Krishna was not even slightly disturbed. No more than an elephant that is hit by a flower garland, Krishna quickly catched the two hands of Chanura and began to wheel him around, and simply by his centrifugal action, Chanura lost his life. Krishna then threw him to the ground. Chanura fell just like the flag of Indra, and all his nicely decorated ornaments were scattered hither and thither. Mustika also struck Balram, and Balram returned that stroke with great force. Mustika began to tremble, and blood and vomit flowed from his mouth. Distressed, he gave up his vital force and fell down as just a tree falls down in a hurricane. After the two wrestlers were killed, wrestlers named Kuta and forward Lord Balram immediately catch him in his left hand and kill him nonchalantly. Nonchalantly, another wrestlers of the name Sala and came forward and Krishna immediately kicked him and cracked his head. Another wrestler named Toshala came forward and was killed in the same way as all the great wrestlers were killed by Krishna and Balaram, and the remaining wrestlers began to flee from the assembly out of the fear of their lives. All the coward boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram approached them and congratulated them with great pleasure. With wild drums beat, and they talked of the victory. They leg bells on the feet of Krishna and Balaram, think, thinking it. All people gathered were began to clap in great ecstasy, and no one could estimate the bounds of their pleasure. The Brahmanas present began to praise Krishna Balaram ecstatically. Only Krishna comes our sorrows. He neither clapped nor offered benediction to Krishna. Kamsa resented the drums being beaten of Krishna's victory, and he was very sorry that the wrestler had been killed that have fled the assembly. He therefore immediately ordered the drums playing to stop and began to address his friend as follow. I order that these two boys, son of Vasudeva, be immediately driven out of the Mathura. The cowherd boy who have come with them should be plundered all their riches taken away. Nand Maharaj should immediately be arrested and killed for his cunning behavior, and the rascal Vasud and the and, and the rascal Vasudev should also be killed without delay. Also, my father Ugrasena, who has always supported my enemies against my will, should be killed. When Kamsa spoke in this way, Lord Krishna became very angry with him, and within a second he jumped over the high cart of King Kamsa. Kamsa was prepared for Krishna attacks, and for he knew from the beginning that he was to be the cause of his death. He immediately unhit unsheathed his sword and prepared to answer the challenge of Krishna with sword and shield. As Kamsa wielded his sword up and down, hither and thither, Lord Krishna, the supreme powerful Lord, catch hold catch hold of him with great force, and the supreme personality Godhead, who is the shelter of the complete creation and form, whose lotus navel and the whole creation is manifested, immediately knocked the crown from the head of Kamsa, grabbed in long hair in his hand. Then he then grabbed Kamsa from his seat to the wrestling, then threw him down. Then Krishna at once stirred his chest and began to strike him over and over again. Simply from the stroke of his first, Kamsa lost his vital force. In order to assure his parents that Kamsa was dead, Lord Krishna dragged him just a lion drag an elephant after killing. On sight of this, there was a great roaring sound from all the sides. Some spectators expressed their jubilation, and others cried in lamentation from that Kamsa heard that he would be killed by the eighth son of Devaki. He was always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day without any stoppage, even while he was eating, while he was walking, while he was breathing, and naturally he got the blessing of liberation. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sada Tad Bhava Bhavita. A person gets his next life according to the true thoughts in which he always absorbed. Kamsa was thinking of Krishna with his wheel, which means Narayana, who hold a wheel, conch shell, lotus flower, and club. According to the opinion of authorities, Kamsa attained the Swarupe Mukti. After that, that is to say he attained the same form as Narayana. Out on the Vaikuntha planets, all the inhabitants have the same bodily features as Narayana. After his death, Kamsa attained liberation and was promoted to Vaikuntha Loka. From this instance, we can understand that even a person who think of the Supreme Personality Godhead as an enemy, guess who think of the Supreme Personality Godhead as an enemy, get liberation and place as in a Vaikuntha planet. So what to speak or to speak of the pure devotee who are always absorbed in favorable thoughts of Krishna. Even an enemy who is killed by Krishna gets liberation and his place in the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Since the Supreme Personality Godhead is all good, and even thinking of him, neither as an enemy or as a friend, gets liberation, but the liberation of the devotee and the liberation of the enemy are not the same. The enemy generally get the liberation of Sayujya, and sometimes he gets Sarupya with liberation. Kamsa had 8 brothers headed by Kanka. All of them were younger than he, and when they learned that their elder brother had been killed, they combined together and rushed toward Krishna in great anger to kill him. And Kamsa and his brother were all Kamsa maternal uncle. They were all brother of Krishna's mother. Devaki, when Krishna killed Kamsa, he killed his maternal uncle, which is against the regulation of Vedic injunction. Although Krishna is independent of all Vedic injunction, he violated the Vedic injunction only in inevitable cases. Kamsa could not be killed by anyone but Krishna. Therefore, Krishna was obliged to kill him as far as Kamsa 8 brothers were concerned. Balram took charge of killing them. Balram, Mother Rohini, although of the 5 of Vasudeva, was not the sister of Kamsa. Therefore, Balaram took charge of killing all the Kamsaite brothers. He immediately took up an available weapons, most probably the elephant tusk which he carried, and killed 8 brothers, one after another, just as a lion kills a flock of deer. Krishna and Balrama thus verify the statement that the Supreme Person of Godhead appear to give protection to the pious and to kill the impious demons are though are always enemies of the demigods. The demigods from the higher planetary system begin to shower flowers, congratulating Krishna and Balram. Among the demigods were mm, The demigods from the higher planetary system began to shower flowering, congratulating Krishna, Balarama, and among the demigods were powerful personalities like Lord Brahma and Shiva, and all joined together in showing their jubilation over circumstances that there was the beating of drums and showering of flower from the heavenly planets, and wives of the demigods began to dance in ecstasy. Yes, Prabhu. Done. Another devotee.
Thank you, Prabhu.
O Hare Krishna Bhagan Prabhu Tanar Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Ribu. Who wants to continue?
Prabhu, we can continue.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Vasudev, Prabhu. The wives of Kamsa and his 8 brothers. The wives of Kamsa and his 8 brothers became grieved on account of their husbands' sudden deaths, and all of them were strict striking their forehead and shedding torrents of tears. They were crying very loudly and embracing the bodies of their husbands. The wives of Kamsa and his brothers began to lament, addressing the dead bodies. Our dear husbands, you are so kind and are the protectors of your dependents. Now, after your death, we are also dead. Also, along with your homes and children. We are no longer looking very auspicious on account of your death. The auspicious functions which were to take place, such as the sacrifice of the bow, have all been spoiled. Our dear husbands, you treated persons ill who were faultless, and as a result, you have been killed. This is inevitable, inevitable, because a person who torments an innocent person must be punished by the law of nature. We know that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme master of everything and the supreme enjoyer of everything, and therefore anyone who neglects his authority can never be happy and lament. Ultimately, as you have, he meets death. Since Krishna was kind and affectionate to his aunt, aunts, he began to give them solace as far as was possible. The ritualistic ceremonies after death were then conducted under the personal supervision of Krishna, because he happened to be the new face of all the dead princes. After finishing this business, Krishna and Balarama immediately released their father and mother Vasudeva and Devaki, who had been impressed by Kamsa. Krishna and Balarama fell at their parents' feet and offered them prayers. Vasudeva and Devaki had suffered to so much trouble because Krishna was their son. It was because of Krishna that Kamsa was always giving them trouble. Devaki and Vasudeva were fully conscious of Krishna's exalted uh, position as the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, although Krishna touched their feet and offered obeisances and prayers to them, they did not embrace him, but simply stood up to hear the supreme personality of Godhead. Although Krishna was born as their son, Vasudeva and Devaki were also auspicious of his position. Those ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 43rd chapter of Krishna, the killing of Kamsa. Ripo.
Ribu.
Wow. The
Thank you.
last, yes, bro. The last sentence was very beautiful. Like Krishna is going down to the Vasudeva and Devaki.
Yes,
Was
Prabhu.
very beautiful. He is the controller of everything, but he is going down to the devotees. Like
Yes, Prabhu.
he is under the control of devotees.
Ribu. Okay, tomorrow we read Krishna recovers the son of his teacher.
Oh.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं पुतिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वतस्ते तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालाये तादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशम् अहेजनिननुग्रह
त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि
न जनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिरेतुकी त्वयि
ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजास्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया
नयनं गलदाश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचिन्तं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्ष्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
आश्लिष्यवापादरथं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् मर्महतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विददातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः
हरिबो Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings and those you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your energies, transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. No, I only want your causeless devotion, service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna has my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me be broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo, Sri Siksastakam ki jai. Okay, then quickly the 10 offenses. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name.
Second attempts to consider the chanting of, to consider the demigod like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be an equal or independent to the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Yes, Prabhu. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person.
Fourth offense to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna, sorry, to to consider the Vedic scriptures or scripture pursuance with the Vedic version is an like
To
what is it?
blaspheme. Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures with the pursuance in the Vedic version.
To consider chanting of Hare glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
One to like to give some Indian interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an auspicious ritualistic activities which is offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities karma kanda.
To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
First one, to not have complete faith on the holy name of the Lord even after understand like not have complete faith on the holy name uh, complete faith on the like attachment to the material, like what is it,
To
like
maintain material attachment.
maintain the material, and then even after understanding so many instructions, mm, uh, while chanting inattentive when chanting is also an offense. Every devotee who claims to be in Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna prema.
Haribo.
Haribo.
पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद
Yes,
नमो वैष्णविंद की जय जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल